It is focused, I would say, is the best way I can describe it. You don't really have energy for anything other than that because, you're hungry and you're cold and the weather is unpredictable, so you're kind of at its mercy. And but you can't be unfocused because you never know when it's gonna the conditions that are be right, and you have to start working right away. I guess after kind of sitting around trying to stay warm, and you're in like the the coast in a cave at like 2 o'clock in the morning, shooting all night, running over rocks, in small sandals, and I have big feet, so it's all challenging. But then again, it's like it's a rare opportunity to play characters from this time period or under these circumstances. So why it's kind of like it's par for the course, I think. Hunger is it's also the I mean that helps a lot with the scenes because you're very much a live wire. You're emotionally kind of all over the place a little bit, but you don't have a lot of energy to add anything on top of the scenes, which is good. You just have enough energy to kind of listen to what's happening. I'm always weary of any group of people that get together, and I guess just get together. I'm weary of groups of people. But faith is something. Obviously, in this story, it's a religious context, but for me, it made more sense than any kind of relationship, any marriage or family relationship, or any commitment to be an actor or a writer, or a bus driver, or a librarian, any job. It's not it's filled with ups and downs and doubt, and that's okay. That's part of believing or committing yourself to anything is constantly questioning at every stage of your life. uh, if what you're doing then makes sense, or if it's who's it bettering, or maybe it's at the time it's not bettering anyone, or and that's fine. That's the painful part of being alive. Yeah. Yeah, just that idea that it can be the religion. It's the boundaries of this movie, but you can substitute it for anything, any relationship. It's not as simple as making the commitment to do it, and then everything else is just resolved by faith. And also just the theme. I mean, kind of like in a worldview. It's very much a story about a culture that feels attacked by a kind of foreign, you know, Jesuits were known to widespread like wildfire, at the uh, in Japan is this particular sect of Catholicism, because they would go to a different country and adapt the culture as opposed to obviously imposing a Western idea, and that Nagasaki was kind of known as the Rome of the East because it spread Catholicism spread, Christianity spread so rapidly. And so you have a government that doesn't like that starts to feel like they can't see themselves or they're losing their history and wants to reclaim it, and are completely justified to behave how, whatever means are at their disposal to accomplish that, and even if that means killing people or persecuting people. And I think that's sadly very relevant still. He just gives you a lot of freedom and encourages you to make everything specific. And he has the great ability, he knows his subject matter very well, and he also has a great sense of film history, so he has a great way of capturing it, visually, and making it very cinematic. And those kind of, I mean, a lot of emphasis is put on how much of a great filmmaker is and his vast film knowledge, but even just as a person, he is very interested in everything. And that works his way into his movies. He's interested in not just film history, but history and uh, um, organizations, hierarchy, forgiveness. He's an interested person, and that makes his movies interesting. St. Peter is the person I had in mind, where uh, he is not fully drank the Kool-Aid, and he's then when he's tested, he rises to the occasion, but uh, that he just doesn't. He's constantly evaluating where they are. He's taking stock of being alone with this other person that's a friend of his, and suddenly he feels like he is alone because that person's more committed to him. And what does it mean that he's not as committed to what it is they're doing? He doesn't see immediately the effect of why they're of them being there, and that I relate to.